Dale Petrosky has been here for 10 years and head of the Dallas Regional Chamber, a distinguished career all over the country that we'll talk about. But 10 years, and another good 10 years to go, and he joins us right now. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you, David. Hard to believe it's been 10 years, but it's been a fun 10 years.
We talked I think just after you came, and I was thinking about that. It really doesn't seem like it. But then again, this has been a long 10 years. There was this COVID thing in between.
Yeah, that was a tough couple of years, but it seems like it never happens sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I think the chamber, during the COVID years, became a better chamber. We just put our nose to the grindstone and got it done, and we communicated to our members. We listened to them. We took care of them, and we really came out of it, I think, stronger. We thought we were going to lose $2 million that year. We lost nothing.
Really?
Yeah, because we figured out a way to do meetings online and have sponsorships online, and we just figured it out. So I think COVID was, in a funny way, pretty good to us.
Yeah, well, I mean, it changed all of us, but I can see how in your case it would sort of put you all together.
Yeah.
And bring. So let's talk about this 10 years, because you have very good timing, I would think. This has been a really good 10 years for North Texas. Just a remarkable. It was probably about 10 years ago we just began to see those leaving California and turn off the lights when you leave and head to Texas signs.
Yeah, it actually, we tend to mark time from 2010 till today, so the last 14 years. And the last 14 years, over 240 headquarters have moved here. And 1.3 million new jobs have been created here. So you're right, timing is everything, and timing has been very good for me. I say to people, if you're going to be a chamber president, this is the chamber you want to be the president of.
Well, and also, about halfway through your tenure, you were named the best chamber in the United States of America.
Yeah, very proud of that. Very proud of our team, because we work hard, and we have a great, talented team that works like that plays it like a team sport every day, and we are of service to the people of Dallas and this community, and that's really what a chamber's role is to be of service. We sit at the intersection of the public sector, the private sector, and the nonprofit sector.
That's really one of the things I want to talk about, because I've always been curious about it. We've always been constrained by time, and now we aren't. Is the role, and you can really define your own role, can't you? And I'm sure you did when you came in.
Yeah, you can be all things to all people at a chamber. Everybody wants you to do something for them, and so there can be a lot of mission creep when it comes to a chamber. But really defining the work that you do, who you're doing it for, is essential to how effective you are. And one of the things that's really important is just doing a strategic plan and really trying to put some boundaries on what you get involved in. And we've evolved our strategic plan, frankly. When I got here, it was economic development, public policy, and education. And then over time, it's evolved into something that's all interrelated. Those aren't three separate things. It's the middle of it is economic prosperity, but we got to do three things really well for that to happen. That is public policy. That's a strong business climate, low taxes, reasonable regulations. It's the talent pipeline, educating our folks so that they can do a good job taking the jobs that need to be done here, but also so they can have a good job and a good life. And the third area, which has been added, and it was added in 2020 after the killing of George Floyd, was diversity, inclusion, and community engagement. And the reason for that is we're one of the most prosperous communities in all of America, and right alongside it, it's one of the poorest communities in America. And we said we're not all we can be, should be, want to be, until everyone's got a shot at a good education, a good job, and a good life.
Well, look, let's stop with that. I want to talk about all three, because they're all really important. But let's start with that, because there's been a lot of development in the southern sector, and I'm telling you, that has been a stop and start in this community for 3 decades. This is here. We're going to put in transit, or we're going to put in warehouses, or the city has finally got to expand to the south, and it's never happened. But now it's finally happening.
Yeah, one of the things that we work on is community investment in that area. And a big win for us last year was the adding of Tom Thumb to Redbird Mall.
Yeah.
And there was not one quality grocery store in all of southern Dallas County. And that's a shame. I mean, there are 57 food deserts in southern Dallas County. So Tom Thumb going in there and really showing faith in that community that they were going to make it and do well was a good starting point.
Yeah, but Brodsky's efforts in Redbird are just remarkable, and the stamina and to stay with something like that.
Peter's a hero. You know, Peter could be sitting on a beach somewhere, you know, basking in the sun and enjoying life, but he really believes in everyone having an equal opportunity. He invested in Redbird Mall with his own money, and he got some others to invest with him, and he's at it every single day. He's going to work. Yeah, I think he's over the hump.
You know, another guy that's been instrumental in this Southern development is Bob Mung. I mean, Bob Mung had this incredible career at the Dallas Morning News, and I figured he was going over to kind of retire and take over UNT Dallas. But that's become a significant factor.
I think we all thought that Bob Mung deserved a good retirement after the Dallas Morning News. He has been a remarkable university president and a very unconventional background to be a university president. But the work that he did along with Michael Hinojosa when he was superintendent and Joe May when he was the head of Dallas College,
right.
And Bob Mung, those three really moved the needle. And then, of course, Bob Mung continued it with Stephanie Elizalde and with Justin Lonan. So there's a great triangle there between Dallas College, our Dallas ISD, and UNT Dallas.
You know, and that's an area that we really need work on. We're always told. We had the folks from CNBC on earlier. I guess it was late last year, where they were, the best business cities, and we got marked down. And one of the reasons we got marked down was the educational system.
Which is crazy. When you think about it, Dallas ISD, and we take some credit for this at the Dallas Regional Chamber because about 12 years ago we started a political action committee called Educate Dallas to find candidates and help them get elected if they were supportive of the programs we were supportive of, and I mean outcomes based.
Right.
You know, we believe that education is not for the adults, it's for the kids. And so many people are fighting among themselves in the educational space, over things that deal with adults, not the children and the teachers. And so we started Educate Dallas. Now just about every school board member has been supported by Educate Dallas. And Dallas ISD now is one of the top and most improving inner city school districts or urban school districts in the nation. And it's one that others are starting to use as a model for making progress.
That's the kind of thing that'll show up in the next survey, ideally. But it's interesting because Dallas, and I speak of when I think of Dallas, I think of true Dallas, not greater Dallas. But the demographics are changing. We're seeing more and more people move back into the inner city, and they're having families. And my sense is the schools that were closed because there weren't any kids around are having to reopen. And that's one of the challenges, although that's also the kind of thing that will invigorate a community, isn't it?
It's a great challenge, and it's a great thing because I think Dallas ISD would love to have some schools in the urban core. And there's a lot more pressure to put good schools in the urban core. I know that Downtown Dallas Inc. is constantly working on that kind of thing. And but a lot of people move here and then they send their kids to Booker T or the Talented and Gifted School, things like that. So we have so many options in Dallas ISD.
Yeah, and great success stories coming out of there too. So let's talk about maybe the segue then, the logical segue is public policy, because that's another effort that you all have. And that takes us back to education and taxes and making the area attractive for the people who live here, but also so you can have still more relocations over the next 10 years.
Yeah, public policy is key to it all, and it has to do with the creation of a good business climate where the ecosystem is friendly for business. It's low taxes, reasonable regulations, and welcoming. You know, sometimes what we don't get right is the rhetoric around welcoming, because sometimes things that come out of our state, don't appeal to everybody. And so I think that's part of what we need to kind of sometimes remind some of our legislators about.
Yeah, you run some headline risk.
Yeah, we do. We do.
And the headlines have showed up.
On the other hand, David, people tend to want to still come here.
Yeah.
I mean, they love the way they can raise their families here. They can run their businesses here. They feel like there's a great sense of community here. It's a big league city. It's growing. It's about tomorrow. It's not about yesterday. And I think there's a lot of really attractive and appealing things about coming to Dallas.
Yeah, and there's a lot of space too. I mean, I was thinking about your role, because you're the Dallas Regional Chamber, and our friends to the south have Houston, and everything is Houston. You've got Dallas and Highland Park and University Park and Arlington and Flower Mound and Denton and Salina and all these other cities that you have to weave together. And you are the glue, I guess, for that.
Well, just so folks know how we operate, we don't take a dime from the city of Dallas or Dallas County. All of our funds come from our member companies, and we report to them, we represent them. So when we go to California, we talk to a company that maybe wants to move out of California, or they're thinking about it. We say, come look at the Dallas region. What would you like? We got something for everybody here. You want to move into a campus? And they say yes. We take them to Plano and Frisco, and we introduce them to our friends there. You want to move into a tech corridor? We take them to Richardson, introduce them to our friends there. You want to be near the airport? We take them to Irving. You want to be downtown? We take them to the city of Dallas. So we're like Luka. We're like the point guard passing to the player that can score the easiest. And that's a big reason that we've been so successful over the past 14 years, is because we've got great options for everyone, and we are not fighting among ourselves.
Yeah.
We are really coordinated in this effort.
Yeah, you can be the peacemaker among these. I know the city fathers and the mayor of Arlington sits there and cringes on Sundays when you get CBS or somebody saying, welcome to Dallas and the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
It ain't Dallas.
Yeah, if I were them, I would too. But they're doing pretty darn well themselves. Arlington's doing really well right now.
They're doing very, very well. And that, they're getting, what we're seeing is sort of creations of little sort of downtowns. That area around the ballpark and AT&T Stadium and Choctaw and everything else is sort of developing into a downtown. I was talking to a fellow earlier who's building a high-rise apartment house out in Addison. And Addison is getting a downtown. And a lot of it is because DART's going to run right through the middle of it. But that's part of it.
Look at Frisco with what the Cowboys have done up there.
Yeah.
I mean, Frisco has really become a developed area and a very nice and new area and fresh. And I think a lot of people are excited about that.
Mobility becomes really important when you have this sort of growth. And when the projection is for still more growth. What can you do in that? You can't build highways and tollways, I guess, can you? How can you affect that? Because that's important.
Yeah, I think our big challenge in the future is infrastructure, because we know more people are coming. You mentioned it a minute ago. We can grow forever. I mean, we have no ocean to stop us. We have no mountains to stop us. We can go. There's a lot of plains here, and we can go forever. So there are going to be more and more people coming here. So the roads, obviously. We don't want to say, we don't want people to move here and then 10 years from now say, Dallas used to be a nice place to live. We need water. Water is a big need of ours. Power, because more data centers are being built here. We need more power here, and reliable power. And we need more broadband. Broadband is the new infrastructure.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
really thought about
something that everybody is reliant on now. So when you say, what's your challenge? Our challenge is not like a lot of other chambers, which is keeping companies from leaving their cities. Our challenge is we know more are coming here. We got to get ready for them with infrastructure in the future.
In managing the growth, the nice thing is this area was here because of the railroads. And they'd rip up a railroad and put down the tollway or Central or whatever else. And I think we're running out of railroads to rip up, but at least that was planning. And so you had sort of this planned development. And now it looks like we're going to have planned development all the way to Oklahoma
Yeah.
on the tollway in Central.
At least we're planned. You know, Houston is not very well planned. I mean, Dallas feels a lot more organized and a lot more planned than Houston to me.
So have you enjoyed being here? I mean, is this what you expected?
You know, I never dreamed in my wildest dreams that I'd be the president of a chamber someday.
Yeah.
The day I walked in the door 10 years ago, I had never stepped foot in a chamber before. But everything that I had done leading up to that was preparing me for this, I think. You know, it was the White House and Capitol Hill taught me about politics and taught me how to understand public policy a little bit. National Geographic was the largest educational nonprofit in the world. So there was the educational aspect of that and all that went with that, and running a big nonprofit. The Baseball Hall of Fame was a smaller nonprofit with a national image, though. And all three of those things had very high standards. So when I came here, I had been at places with really high standards. I had a curiosity about me. I had a fresh approach to things, but I had a lot to learn about the chamber world. And it's been delightful. To be honest with you, out of all those jobs, it's been my favorite job.
But you brought an enormous Rolodex. I mean, you made a lot of friends, a lot of really fascinating and very important friends along the way. Have you called upon them?
I've been lucky. Yeah, well, you know, you call upon them to come and speak. You know, Admiral McRaven's a good friend, and so I asked Admiral McRaven if he would speak at our annual meeting last year. You know, there's one example of that. So, yeah, or if you need a little hand on something, somebody might be able to help you and call somebody and give you a hand on it. But that's just all about friendships and friendships along the way and staying in touch with people and doing a lot of good for them.
What's the biggest challenge? Is it mobility? Do you think it's the infrastructure?
Yeah, I think that and water. You know, because water is, you need water to have a population.
Yeah.
Los Angeles somehow exists and it doesn't have water, any natural water to speak of. And so how long can that last? And so I think we need to be planning out, you know, 50, 100 years to make sure that we still have what we need. So I think roads and water are probably our two biggest challenges.
Well, you've got the pool of talent that can affect a change. Were you struck by the eclectic nature of North Texas? I mean, that's one of the reasons we love covering business here. It's never the same thing.
Yeah.
It's retail or electronics or airlines or
yeah.
you know, what have you.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the folks that have moved here in the last, the Fortune 500 companies that have moved here in the last 6 years. You've got two infrastructure companies, AECom and Jacobs. You've got a commercial real estate.
And Flora was already here.
Yeah, commercial real estate company in CBRE. You've got a financial services company in Charles Schwab. You've got Caterpillar, a manufacturing company, and McKesson, which is a logistics company for pharmaceuticals.
And a little thing like American Airlines and Southwest Airlines and Burlington Northern Santa Fe. And I mean, it really is eclectic. Texas Instruments has been a good friend of the chamber for a long time. I know Rafael Lizardi was your, I guess, outgoing chair.
Yes.
But that's been an important company to this community and I guess to the world too for a long time.
Yeah, homegrown company here and a technology company before technology was cool. And you know, they spawned that great university out in Richardson, UT Dallas.
Exactly.
Fantastic. I mean, that provides us with so much talent in our community these days. And so Texas Instruments is a real shining star for Dallas.
So tell me again about how you operate. You've got, a total of 50, 60 employees?
Yeah, we have 60 employees. By the way, David, most chambers in the region have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 employees. We have 60 employees. We have, what makes us different besides the 4 big areas of economic development, education and talent, public policy and diversity, inclusion, and community engagement. We have our own research team. We have our own expert on public budgets to help us understand state, local,
So that's
and
for the
federal
public policy
budgets.
part?
Yeah. And so we're a very different kind of chamber than most chambers. But we are a $14 million a year operation. And when we get a third of our funding from membership dues, a third from what we call Tomorrow Fund, that's companies that give us money to go do our mission work, and a third from sponsorships and branding. So we do a healthcare event, and McKesson wants to sponsor that event so that they can have their logo there and that they can make the remarks to introduce the speaker. That's the sponsorship and branding piece of it. So that's really the way we operate.
You touch your members a lot too, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're in constant contact.
Yeah, we don't treat our members as transactions. We treat our members as friends. And we do a lot of things very differently. We invite them to a lot of Mavs games in the suites. The American Airlines Center and the Mavs and Stars are so good to us. They give us free suites. So we invite our members in there with their spouses or plus ones. And we spend the evening, getting to know them better. We go to Rangers games. We go to Broadway Dallas with them. My COO and CFO, Angela Farley, and I, we host small board lunches once a month. So we break down that 100-person board to 6 to 8 people around the table where they really get to know one another better. And so it's very relationship-based for us.
That's important because that's one of the things that I think surprises a lot of the outside world is the leaders don't really know each other. And I'll talk to, again, we talk to a CEO every day, but they'll say, well, what did so-and-so, do you know so-and-so? Or what's he like? Or what are they like? Or what? And I'm amazed. But the fact is, a lot of these people are out of town or out of the country 3 days a week. And at least this is a great place where they can cross paths because there's a lot of interesting things that can happen when they get to know one another.
Let me give you an example of what happened a couple weeks ago. Had one of these small board lunches, and Beth Garvey is one of our, she's a real star. She's the CEO of BGSF, which is a big staffing company, and she's a big chamber member. She hosted this lunch. We asked one of them to host every month. And at the table was a major CEO in town, I won't name him, but from a Fortune 50 company. And she was describing her staffing company, what they do and how they do it. And he said, "Are we using you?" And she said, "You were until 2 years ago." He said, "I'll be calling you." I mean, so that's how the magic happens, right? I mean, you get people together, they know each other, they trust each other, they hear the story, they actually are focused on it, and it helps their business. He goes back to his office, now he's got another staffing company to use to bring good employees to his company.
That's absolutely necessary. One of the things that, and I know you must have figured this out in the first 6 months you were here, but one of the beauties of this area is we're right between Canada and Mexico, and we're right between the East Coast and the West Coast. And when they're going to sleep, these people are waking up and we're still in the middle of it. I mean, this Central Time Zone is a really cool thing, isn't it?
Location. And Chicago used to be that place, but that's when the power centers of the country were in the north. In the 70s, and they started moving south. They started moving to Atlanta. They started moving more to Florida. They started moving more to Texas. And I think that goes hand in hand with air conditioning, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But Dallas has become the new Chicago, and it doesn't really snow here. So, half the year, you can fly in and out of Chicago. You never know if you're going to land or not. But here, there's never that problem.
But it seems like all of the great cities, the big cities in the world, are on ports. And you would think logically they would have drifted all the way down south and ended up in Houston. I mean, except for the mosquitoes and the mud and all that stuff. Yeah. But it's intriguing that they stopped along the way, and that this is the area that I guess is going to be, the third largest area in the United States by the end of the decade?
Yeah. I think families have a lot to do with that. If you think about us, we've been blessed with families like the Hunts, like the Perrots, like Boone Pickens, right? And I can go on and on. Trevor Reese-Jones, Kelsey Warren, These are families that come here and they really are rooted in the community. They want to do good, but they're also very, very formidable business people who employ a lot of people.
Yeah.
And provide a good quality of life for a lot of people. And I think that creates a wonderful community, really. And the other thing, David, is that I don't see a lot of adversity here or animosity from one leader to another. Generally speaking, they get along really well. And they lock arms to do good for this community, and they want to see it better tomorrow than it is today.
Yeah, but that's the intriguing role that the chamber can play, is just sort of a, I don't know, country club or something for business where you get to know each other. And I know you play that role.
Well, I like to say if you're a member of the Dallas business community, you're already on the winning team. But if you're a member of the Dallas Regional Chamber, you're inside the winning locker room.
All right, so now we're wrapping up. Our time's almost over with. But you got to give me a scoop. Are there any code names that are out there that are looking for relocations? Have you got a big one in your back pocket?
Mike Rosa would kill me. He's our senior vice president for
economic development. But do you get a lot of that? I mean, do you get a lot of?
It's a very active. We're very active right now. Yeah, very much so. You know, and some of it, David, is things that come at us. People are just excited about Dallas, interested in Dallas. So we're playing a little defense. Sometimes we're going out and making it happen. So we play the offense that way. But either way, Dallas is a very attractive place. You know, one way Mike describes it is that if you think about the 4 largest markets in the country, all right, New York, a lot of talent, a lot of people, not business friendly. Los Angeles, a lot of people, a lot of talent, not business friendly. Chicago, a lot of people, a lot of talent, not business friendly. Dallas, ding, 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 a lot of people, a lot of talent, business friendly. So we win by default because the other 3 aren't very business friendly.
You really sound like you're enjoying yourself. I mean, you have up to this point in time lived a remarkable life. You know, in the Reagan White House and National Geographic and rubbing elbows with every baseball player that we'd always dreamed of meeting sometime in our life, and then finally overseeing this enormous organization that, like I say, was named the best chamber in the United States of America. That's pretty good.
Well, thank you, David.
I look forward to the next 10 years.
I feel very, very lucky, and can't believe I've landed here, but I get to work with some remarkable people on my team, and I get to work with you. I get to work with some great people in this community, and it's a joy.
We're glad you're here. Dale Petrosky celebrating the first 10 years of his tenure as CEO of the Dallas Regional Chamber. I'm David Johnson, News Radio 1080 KRLD.